gentlemen. This is Tushar from NDTV Profit. In the statement that you put out, you talked about a dichotomy in the quote that you put out. So you have growth in manufacturing and healthcare, but there is pain or weakness in communications, BFSI, and high tech. So do you see this dichotomy widening in the year ahead, or do you see a retraining of focus on BFSI now that you are here because of your background? Secondly, on expansion of that, how are your conversations with clients now that they may have set their budgets? So what is the sense you're getting from them for the demand environment? Mr. Anand, for you, just one question. What is the strategy on the margin recovery? I think you have spelled out as part of the 3 tracks that you said. But in the near term, how do you want to go back to those top tier margins that you had about maybe 3 or 4 quarters ago? Thank you so much.
Sure. So I think, look, on the on the sectoral distribution, the thing that I'll mention is we are still seeing volatility in telecom. We are not seeing spend come back in a very significant way, but I do believe that the worst is behind us, right? In terms of just the very strong drops that we saw in 2023. This doesn't mean that we will not see near-term volatility in this quarter or the next quarter, but it does seem that the magnitude of the challenge that we saw in 2023 will not, again recur in 2024. As far as BFSI is concerned, I do feel that we are underrepresented in that sector, even though, compared to our peer groups, even though we do have a $1 billion plus practice. So we will continue to, what we're doing just now is we're looking at the various assets that we have from a BFSI perspective, where we've got, for instance, our transaction processing capability in Target. We've got very high-end consulting capabilities with Citisoft. We've got digital engineering capabilities with CTCO. And we obviously have a broad set of relationships across the globe with banks and insurers. So we're taking this together with the new team that we have, building a comprehensive storyline. And I'm confident that over time this will have an impact and we will be able to build a larger business from a BFSI perspective. To your question in terms of client conversations, I think that while compared to maybe 6 months ago or 9 months ago, there is more optimism in the client base. It's too early to say that there is a sort of a turning point or a tipping point where things are looking more optimistic. No, I think it's too early to say that we are seeing green shoots. In any case, like I mentioned, even when we do see green shoots, right? Look, it is not going to be like the COVID era, right? Where you saw a global sort of push into technology across sectors, across geographies, across client demographics. Everything was booming, right? Even if there is a turnaround, the expectation is that it will be limited to a sector or limited to a geography. So there isn't going to be a everything boom like we saw 2 years ago.
Yeah, so on a margin standpoint, as I mentioned, our normalized margin is going to be 7% EBIT right now. I think from there next year, we will definitely see an uptick. And as Mohit said, we will also carve out certain investments that we want to do for long-term basis, because you got to look at, from a turnaround perspective, it's few things, right? You make certain portfolio choices that we stick on for the next 3-4 years. You also make some long-term investment that we stick on for next few years, and some of the long-term investments are needed right now to give you the benefit, right? So we're taking a little bit of a longer-term view versus just this quarter, next quarter, what do we need to drive it? So I think it's a long-term shareholder value creation. And in that context, the idea is what's the best thing for us to do to, once we lay the foundation, organization, which Mohit already announced, the team is in place. As we go level deeper, culture, all the other stuff that we're going to be doing, agility on the processes, we try to do all that. With that, how do we sustainably get improved margin and a better growth position versus just looking at short-term profile? So we will improve definitely next year, but the quantum of that will be in balance to keeping long-term view in mind.